How was Curtis Stone able to afford his off-grid house, his compound? I hate to even say compound because it sounds like, oh, Ruby Ridge. But he's got a nice little place up there in Canada, someplace, Saskatchewan, I don't even know, Alberta, someplace, I don't even know. But he's got a couple kids, got a wife. You know, he, just like me, he married up. And Curtis Stone was the urban farmer. But he's not urban anymore. Now he's way rural. And he has this nice freaking place up there. Just all on, he's all off-grid, man. It's freaking awesome. And I interviewed Curtis Stone many years ago when I first started my YouTube channel. And one of the first interviews I ever did. And Curtis has been a big impact on my life, without question. A positive impact of untold proportions, because I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Curtis Stone. And how I found him was through Jack Spurko's Survival podcast, and I would not be where I am today without that guy either. Anyway, point being is, I'm not sure if Curtis is going to be at the Survival Festival, or Self-Reliance Festival that's coming up next week. I don't know, but I hope he is. But I know Jack will be there and a couple other people that I've been following for many years. Anyway, there's a lesson here for everybody when it comes to retirement planning in particular. So Curtis has this big setup, man. You know, freaking earth move. Look at that hole right. You probably can't. Look at that hole. What the hell is that? What is in that hole? Is that a big snake or something like that? Anyway, that's nasty. Anyway, so Curtis has this big setup, completely off grid, raises kids, homeschooling. The whole thing's just fantastic. And it ain't cheap, man. He had earth movers. He had to put solar panels. He got some propane. I'm sure he's got gas. I can't remember the whole setup, but it's not cheap. All right. Now Curtis is an entrepreneur, making a little bit of money, not huge amounts of money. He was saying he's basically making between 50 and 100,000 years over the last 10 years or so, and that's all good and everything, but certainly not enough to build his compound. And again, I don't mean compound like, oh, he's survivalist kind of thing. It's not even like that. It's just like, you want to be off grid. His whole life, he wanted to be off grid. Anyway, so now he is 42 years old. I can't remember if I said that or not. And you're like, man, how'd you afford that? So he did a video today on how he afforded this. And I was like, man, that is part and parcel what I'm telling people. Finney, are you getting ready to poop? Finney doesn't really poop when we go outside. Pablo does. Finney doesn't, though, but he looks like he's thinking about it. Anyway, so Curtis, the way he did it, 2014, he was renting a house from a woman in Kelowna, Canada, someplace. He asked if he could, do an urban garden in the place they're renting. She goes, absolutely. A couple years later, she says, I'm going to sell the house. You got first dibs if you want. He says, man, all right, I'm going to buy it. Against his dad's recommendation, his dad's like, nah, dude, don't. The market's going to crash. But he did. He borrowed. He leveraged, to buy the house because he didn't have enough cash. All right. He put a bunch of, he did $200,000 of work in that house in terms of remodeling and whatnot. And then he sold it. Basically 8-9 years later. And he was able to pay the little about a mortgage he had left on it. He sold it, took the proceeds, and invested in his off-grid living. I mean, this is how it works. Look, I hope you don't have to take a mortgage. It's going to be tough for anyone now to buy a house without a mortgage, man. That's just a fact. And when you're first starting out. So in 2014, if Curtis is 42, in 2014 he was 36, right? 2014 is 36. All right, he's renting a house. So he didn't have any money to freaking pay for a house outright. He's renting. So he had to borrow in which to finance it to buy it. So he borrowed, equity increased, paid off his debts, added to it, sold it at I hate to say profit because it sounds like it's a capital gain, and in some regard it is, but mostly it's just an increase in value because of scarcity of housing makes the prices go up. Anytime there's a scarcity and the demand stays the same or the demand increases, there will be a price increase. So you could call that a capital gain, but also improvements and all that. So anyway, long story short, he's able to sell his house, take the proceeds, and buy his off-grid thing up there in Canada. And the nice thing about his off-grid thing is he basically creates a lot of his own energy. Doesn't have to pay tax on that. He basically creates a lot of his own food. Doesn't have to pay tax on that. Doesn't have to have income. What are you doing, Pablo? In which to buy food, to buy energy. You see what I'm saying? He's in a very rural area. Pablo, come on. Very rural area where property taxes are low. The lesson to be learned: you can sell your house, take the proceeds, downsize, and actually live a better life. If you got no debt, man. So Curtis didn't have any debt, at least I could tell. So he sold his urban area home and bought this other place debt-free. What a great story that we can all live by. It's exactly my intention. Sell your house, buy something downsized, a little bit further away maybe. I don't care where it is. I don't care. Where the cost of living is cheaper, the property taxes are cheaper. You don't need to have $1 million to do this, man. You just have to have the ability to do it. And the way to do that is through a home or through saving. I don't care how you do it. But now I'm all tied up in dog leashes, so I'm going to let you go.